all, you are expected to know about the technical aspects of power systems. While your safety remains utmost important, you are also expected to know what goes into the protection of these power systems. This course will familiarize you with the different concepts related to power systems protection. This course is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 deals with the basics of power systems protection, that include nature of faults, qualities and basic principles of protection, and the components of protection. Part 2 deals with the function, operation, and classification of relays. Finally, Part 3 deals with the setting of protection relay. Let's get started with Part 1, Basics of Power Systems Protection. Let us take a look at the objectives of this course. By the end of this course, you will be able to define power system protection, explain the significance of power system protection, define protection relay, define the nature of faults, explain the causes and consequences of faults, explain a few abnormal conditions arising from different types of faults, explain the essential qualities of protection, explain the basic principles of protection, list and discuss each component of protection. Let us begin with understanding what exactly power system protection means. Power system protection is a branch of electrical power engineering that deals with the protection of electrical power systems from faults through the isolation of faulted parts from the rest of the electrical network. The objective of a protection scheme is to keep the power system stable by isolating only the components that are under fault, whilst leaving as much of the network as possible still in operation. Those protection schemes must apply a very pragmatic and pessimistic approach to clearing system faults. The devices that are used to protect the power systems from faults are called protection devices. So what does a protection relay system do? Click on a good electric power system should ensure the availability of electrical power without any interruption to every load connected to it. Generally, power is transmitted through high voltage transmission line and lines are exposed. Therefore, there may be chances of their breakdown due to storms, falling of external objects, and damage to the insulators, etc. These can result in not only mechanical damage, but also in an electrical fault. Protective relays and relaying systems detect abnormal conditions like faults in electrical circuits and automatically operate the switch gear to isolate faulty equipment from the system as quick as possible. This limits the damage at the fault location and prevents the effects of the fault spreading into the system. The switch gear must be capable of interrupting both normal currents as well as fault current. The protective relay, on the other hand, must be able to recognize an abnormal condition in the power system and take suitable steps so that there will be least possible disturbance to normal operation. We discussed that protection relay detects abnormal conditions like faults. So what exactly does that mean? What is the nature of faults? Let's find out. The nature of fault simply implies any abnormal condition which causes a reduction in the basic insulation strength between phase conductors, between phase conductor and earth, or any earth screen surrounding the conductors. Power systems mainly consist of generator, switchgear, transformer, and distribution system. The probability of failure is more on the power system due to their greater length and exposure to atmosphere. Why do faults occur? Breakdown could be due to normal voltage or abnormal voltage as well. Click on breakdown at normal voltage may occur on account of the deterioration of insulation, damage due to unpredictable causes such as perching of birds, accidental short circuiting by snakes, tree branches, etc. Breakdown may occur because of abnormal voltages caused by switching surges, surges caused by lightning. Let us now understand why faults occur. Here are a few causes for the occurrence of faults. Though the present practice is to provide a high insulation level of the order 3 to 5 times the normal voltage, but still faults occur. The pollution on an insulator string caused by deposited soot or cement dust in industrial area. Salt deposited wind-borne sea spray in coastal area. These will initially lower the insulation resistance and causes a small leakage current to be diverted, thus hastening the deterioration. Secondly, even if the insulation is enclosed, such as sheathed and armored, the deterioration of the insulation occurs because of aging effect, void formation in the insulation compound of underground cable due to unequal expansion and contractions caused by the rise and fall of temperature. Thirdly, insulation may be subjected to transient over voltages because of switching operation. The voltage which rises at a rapid rate may achieve a peak value which approaches 3 times phase to neutral voltages. Lightning produces very high voltage surges in the power system in the order of million volts. These surges travel with the velocity of light in the power circuit. The limiting factors are the surge impedance and the line resistance. We have learned about the causes of faults. Let us now look at the consequences when these faults occur. Serious results of the uncleared fault is fire, which may not only destroy the equipment of its origin, but also may spread in the system and cause total failure. It could lead to a great reduction in voltages. It could cause damage to the element of the system by the electrical arc. There could be damage to the other parts due to overheating. It could disturb the stability of the electrical system, and this may even lead to a complete shutdown of the power system. Voltage reduction may fail the pressure coil of the relay. There could be considerable reduction in the voltage on healthy feeder connected to the system having fault. Do you think that faults are always caused by current? No. Faults are divided into 3 verticals based on their type. They are current, voltage, and frequency. Take a look at this table to know the specifics in each vertical. We will understand about a few of these in detail in the next screen. Under the current vertical, we have seen 2 types of faults, overload and overcurrent. They seem to be the same fault, but they are different. Let us now first understand overload with the help of an animation of a conveyor belt and driving motor. Here is a conveyor belt carrying some material. It is driven by a 100 kilowatt, 415 volts, 50 Hz, three-phase induction type motor. An emitter connected with the electrical power circuit is showing the load current. The emitter shows the current at normal running condition and its average reading shows around 120 ampere. Once the emitter shows 150 ampere instead of 120 ampere, someone observing this reading should doubt that there is some problem. This problem is known as overload, which means that there is some abnormality in the conveyor system. However, this will not damage the motor as it is less than the full load current of the motor. So, if we want to protect this type of abnormality of the system, we should provide overload protection with current set point, and the set point reference is the normal running current, that is 120 ampere in this case. Now, let us look at overcurrent. In this scenario, if the emitter shows more than 250 ampere, then it is more than the full load current of the motor. This abnormality is known as overcurrent and it is very harmful for the motor. The motor may be damaged if it runs with this amount of current. So, the overcurrent protection is provided with proper current set point based on the motor full load current, that is 200 ampere in this case. Current-related faults. Now let us learn about the other types, that is voltage-related fault and frequency-related fault. Firstly, over-voltage protection. It is very dangerous for any electrical equipment. The results of this fault are insulation deterioration, insulation failure, and sometimes fire. So the protection from over-voltage is required. The set value is decided based on the system and equivalent standard. Under voltage protection, it is also dangerous for some specific electrical equipment. The result of this abnormality leads to damage of the equipment, especially the motor. Therefore, over-voltage protection is required. The set value is decided based on the system and equivalent standard. Frequency-related fault, over-frequency. It is the effect of unstable electrical power system, and one of the reasons is sudden cutting of huge electrical load. To prevent this situation, LDC, Load Dispatch Center, acts accordingly. Under frequency. Similarly, it is also the effect of unstable electrical power system, and one of the reasons is sudden insertion of huge electrical load. To prevent this situation, LDC, Load Dispatch Center, acts accordingly. Now take a look at the fault statistics table to know about the percentage of faults in different types of equipments. We have learned about the essential qualities of protection. Now let us take a look at the basic principles of protection. Essentially, the system or the equipment should be able to discriminate the appropriate disconnecting device. There are two methods of discriminating faults. Those which discriminate as per the location of the fault and type of the fault. Further, there are different ways of discriminating the types of faults. They are discrimination by time, discrimination by current magnitude, discrimination by time and direction, discrimination by distance measurement, time as an addition to current magnitude or distance discrimination, current balance discrimination, power direction comparison discrimination, phase comparison discrimination. So these are the basic principles of protection. We have covered quite a few topics. Time now for a quick review. Some of the commonly used components of the protective schemes are described here in brief. They are current transformer (CT), voltage transformers, circuit breaker (CB), tripping and auxiliary supplies, relays. We shall discuss each of these components further in detail. We have learnt about the components of protection. Before going into the details of relay, we should understand the basics of sensing element. Let us start with understanding about what the current transformer CT does. Current transformers reduce power system current to lower value for measurement, insulate secondary circuits from the primary, permit the use of standard current ratings for secondary equipment. Next, we will look at the types of current transformers. Remember, the relay performance depends on the CT which drives it. There are two types of CTs as per construction, bar type and wound type. In the bar type CT, a magnetic core and one winding can be found, which is known as secondary winding. On the other hand, in wound type CT, a magnetic core and two windings are present. Let us now discuss about polarity of CTs. Every instrument or equipment has this direction of current flow marked on it. This diagram shows the direction of current flow as per polarity. As you can see, there are two primary connections, one for the source denoted by P1 and the direction towards which it flows denoted by P2. Further, in this process, current is produced in the secondary winding denoted by S2 and S1. It is noteworthy that the current produced here flows in the opposite direction in the same plane. It is denoted by IS. Note that in the other way, the current flow in secondary connection from S1 to S2 externally if the secondary connection is parallel. Let us move to the next screen. As mentioned earlier, polarity plays a vital role for some applications like differential protection, directional overcurrent protection, etc. Sometimes it becomes difficult to identify the polarity of current transformer due to wear and tear or labels going missing, etc. So in such instances, how do we determine the polarity of CT? Well, that is when we use flick test to identify polarity. Let us see how it is done. For this test, a battery of 6 to 9 volts is taken and its positive terminal is connected to any one terminal of CT primary through a push button. This point is named as P1 and negative side is named P2. So, when the push button is on, as mentioned, the direction of current flow is from P1 to P2. To determine the secondary connection, a DC microammeter is fixed. If the needle of the emitter flicks in the clockwise direction, the current flow will be from S1 to S2. Then the positive lead of the DC microammeter is connected to S1. If the needle flicks anti-clockwise, then the flow is supposed to be in the reverse direction. Then S1 becomes S2 and vice versa. This is how a flick test is carried out to identify polarity. CT polarity plays a vital role here to sense the direction of current with reference of voltage transformer. The directional protection will not work if CT connection is changed or is wrongly connected. So what exactly does directional protection mean? It means the relay will become operational in one direction of current, but it will not sense any fault in opposite direction of current. Let us understand with the help of these diagrams here. This diagram shows a normal scenario of current flow. The primary and secondary connections are all in place. Here, IOP refers to the current direction for operation. Now suppose there is a fault. In this case, the relay will sense the fault as the current is passing in forward direction and trip the circuit breaker when the current exceeds the set value. This is directional protection. However, let us look at another scenario where the connections of the CT secondary are interchanged. Here, the relay will not sense the fault as the CT secondary current is passing in reverse direction and will not trip the circuit breaker. In this case, the relay will act in opposite manner, which will not fulfill the expected operational protection requirement. Similar to directional protection, CT polarity plays a vital role in differential protection as well. The relay operates if fault occurs in between two current transformers. It will not sense any fault that occurs outside both CTs. So, differential protection senses internal fault only. Therefore, this circuit will not sense the internal faults if we interchange any of the CT secondary connection. Let us continue to the next screen. Let us now understand what knee point voltage means. The voltage at which a 10% increase in applied voltage increases the magnetizing current by 50% is referred to as knee point voltage. Mostly, the operation point of the CT is limited to the linear region and is not allowed to reach the saturation region. Beyond knee point voltage, the CT gets saturated and it may be damaged if the CT remains in this region for a long time. Let's move to the next screen. We have learnt about groups of CTs as per construction. Similarly, based on their operation, CTs are divided into two groups, measurement CTs and protection CTs. Both have different characteristics. Let's look at them in detail. Measuring CTs. Limits are well defined. Require good accuracy up to approx 120% rated current. Require low saturation level to protect instruments. Thus use nickel-iron alloy core with low exciting current and knee point at low flux density. Measuring CT is more accurate than protection CT. Protection CTs operate over a wide range of currents. Accuracy not as important as above. Require accuracy up to many times rated current. Thus use grain-oriented silicon steel with high saturation flux density. The saturation point denoted by Vk is more than measuring CT. Now we'll learn about the specifications of CTs. As for all equipment, CTs also follow a naming convention. It goes something like this: 30, 5P, 10. Now what does that mean? Well, 30 is the rated VA or burden, 5P is the class, and 10 is the accuracy limit factor or ALF. Click on each value of burden in VA on which accuracy claims are based. Preferred values: 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 15, 30 VA. ZB is equal to rated burden in ohms is equal to rated VA by IN square. The numbers for class are written as 5P, 10P or 1, 0.8, 0.4, etc. Numbers with P are protection type CTs. The ones carrying only numbers are measurement type CTs. The number denotes total composite error in plus-minus percentage. Refers to multiple of rated current IN up to which declared accuracy will be maintained with rated burden connected. In the previous screen, we have learned about the protection type CT class and measurement type CT class. Apart from these two, there is another class known as the protection special PS class. This is also written as X class. PS class CT is made on the specification given by the customer. The cost of the CT is higher than the normal CT. This type CT is used in special operation such as differential protection. It is specified in terms of rated primary current, turns ratio, maximum error is equal to 0.25%, knee point voltage, MAC current at specified voltage and secondary resistance at 75 degrees Celsius. Voltage transformers are the next important component of protection. Voltage transformers are used for measuring and protection. Maybe single phase or three phase. Provide isolation from high voltages. Must operate in the linear region to prevent accuracy problems. Must be capable of driving the burden specified by relay manufacturer. There are two basic types of VTs, electromechanical VTs and capacitor VTs. Electromechanical VTs are similar to a power transformer, may not be economical above 132 kV, robust and more reliable. Capacitor VTs, CVT, used at high voltages 132 kV or above. Main difference is that CVT has a capacitor divider on the front end. Require maintenance as capacitor is used. This image here shows a capacitor voltage transformer. As you can see, there are two capacitors C1 and C2 being used to bring down the voltage across C2. Though electromechanical VT is robust, it is not used for high voltages like 132 kV or above due to its high cost and large size. Therefore, a CVT is required to manage high voltage instances. The next component of protection is circuit breaker. A circuit breaker is a switching device that interrupts the abnormal or fault current. It is a mechanical device that disturbs the flow of high magnitude or fault current and in addition performs the function of a switch. The circuit breaker is mainly designed for closing or opening of an electrical circuit, thus protects the electrical system from damage. Let us now look at the fourth component of protection, tripping and auxiliary supplies. So, what is a trip circuit? A relay provides a potential-free contact, which is shown in the figure as trip contact at the time of fault sensed by the relay. The auxiliary supply goes through this contact to the trip coil of the circuit breaker. So, what is auxiliary supply? All the circuit breakers are DC, direct current operated. Because DC power can be stored in battery and at the time of total failure of incoming power occurs, still the circuit breakers can be operated for restoring the situation by this battery. Hence, the battery is another essential item of the power system. This is auxiliary supply. We have come to the end of the first module of Power Systems Protection. Here is a quick recap of the key points discussed in this module. In this module, we have learned that Power System Protection is a branch of electrical power engineering that deals with the protection of electrical power systems. A good electrical power system should ensure the availability of electrical power without any interruption to every load connected to it. Power protection systems limit the damage at the fault location and prevents the effects of the fault spreading into the system. The nature of fault simply implies any abnormal condition which causes a reduction in the basic insulation strength between phase conductors, between phase conductor and earth or any earth screen surrounding the conductors. Voltage breakdown could be due to normal voltage or abnormal voltage. Causes of faults could be due to pollution, aging effect, or voltage surges. Faults are divided into three verticals based on their type: current, voltage, and frequency. Speed, selectivity, sensitivity, reliability, simplicity, and economy are the essential qualities of protection. There are two methods of discriminating faults, as per the location of the fault and as per the type of fault. There are 5 important components of protection. They are current transformer (CT), voltage transformers, circuit breaker (CB), tripping and auxiliary supplies and relays. Current transformers reduce power system current to lower value for measurement. Insulate secondary circuits from the primary. Permit the use of standard current ratings for secondary equipment. There are 2 types of CTs as per construction: bar type and wound type. Polarity of CTs plays a vital role. Flick test is used to identify polarity of current transformers. Based on their operation, CTs are divided into protection CTs and measurement CTs. There are 2 basic types of VTs: electromechanical VTs and capacitor VTs. A circuit breaker is a switching device that interrupts the abnormal or fault current. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed learning. Click next.